Hello, my name is Ben Watara, and welcome to today's podcast episode of I Am Possible. And in today's episode, I would like to talk about perfectionism or imperfectionism for that matter, because I was just recording a podcast about another topic, and I kept making one mistake after another. I kept doubting myself while I was talking, and I was trying to be perfect because actually the recording was pretty good, and it was just one word that I misspelled or mispronounced. And I have an insecurity when it comes to speaking English, just because English is not my first language. And even though everyone in my surrounding tells me you speak great English, and I almost don't hear that you're not a native speaker, I for myself hear it, and I sometimes have this little voice in my mind that tells me, it's not good enough, you need to do it again. And, trying to be a perfectionist, and how being a perfectionist, and I'm just using myself as an example here because it was just a moment right now, how being a perfectionist is going to stand in your way of making the impossible possible, because it all starts in your own mind. It all starts with you. It all starts with your value systems and how you judge situations, how you judge your own actions, and the feedback that you give to yourself. Because that's the thing. A lot of times we believe that other people will judge us. We believe that other people will look down on us. We believe that something is good or not good. That's judgment, by the way. Good, not good is a judgment. Good compared to what? Compared to who? Big, small, expensive, not expensive, hard, easy. These are all judgments, but it's a comparison, right? Small, big. What is big? What is small? A cat is small in comparison to a dog, but is big in comparison to a mouse. And a mouse is big in comparison to an ant, right? So what is really big? What is really small? What is good? What is bad? Compared to who? Compared to what? For who? Everyone has different judgments. But all that doesn't matter if you're not aware that you have subconscious beliefs, belief systems, and judgments about the world, about yourself, about success, about failure. And if you're not aware of these beliefs that you have, you will be a slave of them. And that is very, very important to identify. Identifying them doesn't mean that they're going to disappear from day to night, because you need to create new cues. The actions that you take will create new results, but you need to be able to see these results and to judge them based on different beliefs. For example, I'm going to give you an example right now. For me, recording this podcast, my belief, if I'm a perfectionist, is it needs to be flawless. I cannot make any mistake. I need to have a structure from beginning to ending. It's going to be like a presentation. Well, I changed my standard for my podcast. I believe it should be conversational. When I have a conversation with someone, I don't have a script that I write down. I don't have the topic in advance. I don't start from scratch when I mispronounce a word, when I say or when I forget something and then I have to think for 2 seconds and say it again. All these things are standards that come from where? Because I was watching, speakers on stage, and you're listening to the radio maybe, and you have like this slick and perfect talk. But that is not my standard for this podcast. My standard for this podcast is I need to record an episode. I need to bring my point across to help you understand certain topics that might help you to progress in your life when it comes to goal setting, mindset, making the impossible possible. And this is what I'm doing. Every single episode, I'm getting better because I'm involved in the process. If I record 100 episodes, I'm going to be better after the 100th episode because I'm just going through the repetitions and the motions. And that's the same thing if you want to lose weight, if you want to write a book, if you want to achieve anything for that fact. Let's take the example of losing weight. You see yourself, you see your ideal self. You go to the gym, and a lot of people have these expectations of themselves. They need to be able to stick to the diet perfectly, 100%. You need to be able to go to the gym. You need to train 2 hours every single day. And then you go and you realize you can't really do it, or it doesn't really look that good. And you don't like the way other people see you. Like a lot of people, they are self-aware when they're somewhere and the way they look and the way other people look at them. But other people don't look at you and judge you the way you think in your mind. You see someone looking at you and you think, oh, they probably think I'm overweight. What is this person doing in the gym? Did this, that. And whatever is going on in your mind is only going on in your mind. Probably that person is not even thinking about you, not even thinking about that. They have other things that they're dealing with. But as long as it's true in your mind, it is true for you. And that is what is important to realize. That this voice in your mind, these enemies, these judgers are invented. And you see, even if this person would think that about you, but you wouldn't catch them looking at you in that moment, and you wouldn't know that they just looked at you, would that influence you or not? No, it would not. It's like someone that's criticizing you right now, and you don't know that they're criticizing you. Would it in fact impact you? No. But if you hear that someone criticized you, now it can affect you. Now you can react emotionally towards it. You have a lot of people that walk around and they ignore completely what the outside world is thinking of them. That is a different topic, how to deal with the outside world and what the inside voice is creating in your mind, because there is no reality. There's only your perception of reality, and that is based on your beliefs, on your judgments of how you perceive the outside world, and even physical changes in your body, or what you do yourself. You can judge your behavior. Like you've been on a streak for 2 weeks. You went to the gym and then you didn't go for 2 days, and I'm like a failure. I can't stick to my goals, because now you judged this 2 days break as a failure. But what is that going to do? Is that going to motivate you to go back the next day or not? It's not. And that's why it's very important to see how perfectionism, how our beliefs, how our standards that we set for ourselves are impacting this whole progress is success concept. Because if progress is success, and I just go back to what I need to do today, is going to impact what I'm doing this week, is going to impact what I'm doing this month, is going to impact what's going to happen this year. I need to look at what can I do right now. Does it need to be perfect? If I want to be a good speaker, if I want to be a good writer, if I want to have a great body, if I want to have a successful company, if I want to, whatever it is, you approach it from day to day. The future is a concept. You don't know. You cannot influence what is going to be in 3 months other than what you will do right now. But does what you're doing right now need to be perfect? You need to have a standard for what you want to achieve eventually in the future. You need to have a deadline. You need to dream big and see a big vision. But you cannot let that big vision cripple you in the now, because you don't have the capability and the confidence yet to be able to do what you need to do. That's why a lot of people are afraid of public speaking, because they think people are going to judge them based on their current level. And that's what I just had, because I was recording a podcast episode and I was mumbling and I was like, oh man, this is not good. And then just trying to make it perfect. And then if I can't make it perfect, I'd rather not do it at all. And if I don't do it, how am I ever going to become good? It's a paradox. You see, it's like when people say, oh, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. But you only get quality from quantity. How can you get a quality body? By going through the quantity of workouts. How do you become a good salesman? By starting as a bad salesman, and by improving and adjusting, and you make more experiences and you get more knowledge, and just sitting there and trying to read every book about sales to have the first sale you ever make in your life be perfect is what's making you procrastinate your first sale. Is what's making you wait and say, I'm not ready yet. I need to learn more. I need to ask more people. Thinking that the idea that you have right now, the first time you implement it, is going to be a big success and you're going to become a millionaire or billionaire and sell that app that you're building without anyone criticizing it, any bugs, is what's going to make you sit there in concepts and never really start doing. You need to build a prototype. You need to put it out there. And it's going to crash. People are going to complain. And you're going to have a lot of failures. But you adjust it. But progress is success, which means that as long as you're doing something right now that is the maximum of your capability right now, that's all that matters. And you come back tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. And after 50 podcast episodes, I'm going to be better. But if now I'm sitting here and I'm insecure about myself and I try to practice and I try to, perfect it before it comes out, it will probably never come out. If you try to look, it's almost like having abs before you go to the gym. Being a perfect writer before writing the first page. When you listen to it, it sounds stupid. But if you look at our own behavior, we might catch ourselves many times in these situations because of fear of judgment of other people, which is mostly created in our own minds. So if you want to make the impossible possible, don't be a perfectionist. Be an imperfectionist. Start where you are. You don't have to be great to start. You have to start to be great. So go out there, create. Don't wait. Be great. Until I stop breathing, I will not stop to grow. And always remember that I am possible.